Good morning, my friends. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to do a look using my Lisa Eldridge Desert Gleam palette. I actually didn't buy this one when it was released because I was a bit afraid about the undertones. I thought it might look too yellow on me. But then when I came to London and I got to swatch it, it's absolutely beautiful. So now it's actually one of my most used, apart from Betty, because that's my absolutely most used palette, as I've told you. But this is my second most used palette. And then comes Sorcery, and then comes Vega, because that's all the palettes that I have. But this little guy is absolutely stunning. So I thought I would use that one today. I'm going to start off with my Victoria Beckham Augustina Spada drops. My skin is absolutely parched, really dry, and yeah, well, so I need the hydration, and then these drops are perfect. I mean, it's actually, I know it must be boring for you guys because I tend to stick to the same bases. I use this one, I use the Lisa Eldridge tinted drops. Oh, I don't, seamless and endless seamless something skin tint. Sorry, I can't remember the name right now. And I did get to blow dry my hair this morning, only because it's about 254 degrees minus outside. No, it's not, it's about 7, but I didn't feel like going out with wet hair, so I had to take the extra 20 minutes, 15, to blow dry my hair. And of course I got a lot of comments from you guys saying that you liked that I had my hair done, which I literally do maybe twice a year, because I absolutely hate spending time on my hair. It's really fun because I really do spend a lot of time on my makeup, but never ever spend time on my hair. And I know that people react to that, but that's just me. I normally have my hair pulled up or just simply let it dry on its own, because then it gets curly. So when I blow dry it, it does get rather straight, which it's nice because it's quite manageable. On my curly hair, is a little bit more, as we say in Sweden, bångstyrig, which means all over the place, literally. There we go. I think that's it. I hope I haven't missed any spots. But this one, I really like this foundation, as I've told you 200 times before. I am going to use the Westman Atelier contour stick. I think it's called contour stick. Let's see. It is called Face Trace Contour Stick. Yeah, and this one is called Au Lait, like Cafe Au Lait. It's the lightest one, and this one works really well on my skin tone. I did struggle, or I should say I do struggle quite a bit with contours and bronzes. Not my best. There we go. I do love that it's a very nice packaging, but it's really heavy, which is not the best if you like to travel. And I travel an awful lot for work. So I prefer the smaller versions. So I wish that she would come out. I mean, she only has biscuit, I think, and one more, and that's even darker. So I really do hope that she would make more of the smaller sizes, because I really enjoy them loads, and I just wish that they were easier to bring with you, because they are very nice and sturdy. It's the same with the Pat McGrath motherships. I mean, they are really fancy and I love them, but I can't travel with them, which bugs me a bit because it's my absolute favorite. I was talking to one of my followers on the last video, I think it was, and she was mentioning the Viseart shadows. I am gonna try and bring out the ones that I have. I just need to find them because I don't use them as much. I do love Viseart. Their shadows are a bit more, they are a bit more dry, I find. They are really well performing, don't get me wrong. It's just, I think it's a matter of taste. I have friends that absolutely love the Viseart ones. It's just not my favorite, but I do like the small ones. They make the small palettes that you can travel easily with you and bring them with you, sorry. So I do use those ones. I haven't bought the Entendu, the slightly bigger ones yet, because they've been out of stock when I've been looking for them. So I am going to use the same blush that I did yesterday. It's not Eleanor, of course, it's Enamor. It's a Japanese brand, and this is the shade 1U, which is easy for me to remember when I looked at it afterwards, because I have Glossier U, the perfume, and that's one of my staples. I've been using it, well, for years, since it came out, I think. This is what bugs me with the hair. You have to remove it all the time. I'm not very good at. I'm not used to it, I should say, because I never wear my hair down. There we go. It's a very nice little blush. It has a slight shimmer to it. I have it in 2 colors. I bought a peach one and I bought that one. I've used this one more. Peach blushes, they work on me. I mean, they do work. Absolutely, I shouldn't say they don't. But I do tend to wear them more for summertime. Then I am using the Victoria Beckham highlighter stick in Pearl. Also very easy to remember because I have a Westman Atelier highlighter stick called Pärla, which means pearl in Swedish. Gucci Westman is actually Swedish. Well, I think she's American, but she's been brought up in Sweden, so she speaks Swedish, which is cool. I'm not sure where she's from in Sweden, if she's from Stockholm where I am based or someplace else, I don't know. Stockholm, but Sweden is a quite large country. We don't have that many people living in it. We're only about, I think we're about 11 million people in the entire country. And I think the country might be the same size as the UK. And of course, if you live in London, you know that there are probably around 11-12 million people in the centre of London. So you can imagine it's not a lot of people. I am then going to use my Urban Decay Primer Potion. Did I? No, wrong way, sorry. That's what you have for not wearing your glasses. I was thinking of mixing 2 of my favorite subjects. As you know or might know, I'm not sure if you're new, welcome. Hi, my name is Sia. If you don't know, I am a gemologist and I work with gemstones. I am also a valuer, and I'm a senior gemologist and head of jewelry at Scandinavia's largest pawnbroker, Pantbanken, Sweden. Pantbanken, Sverige. So I was thinking maybe I should start discussing, well, topics in gemstones. Right now, what's on everyone's lips and minds, of course, it's synthetics. Synthetic diamonds, to be more precise. I'm going to start using that one. Personally, I don't really mind synthetics. I think there's a place in the market for synthetics. I do, however, mind terribly when people are trying to sell you synthetics and they don't get the facts straight. That is a real pet peeve. I don't like people fooling other people just to sell more, which right now is what's happening with the synthetic diamonds. In Sweden, you're only allowed to use the term synthetic diamonds I know that abroad it's allowed to use lab grown. The problem is that we don't really have a translation for grown. And of course, if you know anything about diamonds, you will know that they are not created in a lab. They were in the 50s, but they haven't been for quite some time. They are created in factories by the millions. And one of the things that people are saying about the synthetics, they have been riding really high on the eco-friendly. It's a lot of greenwashing in synthetic diamonds. Of course, some of the production is lower energy-wise than some of the production of the natural diamonds. But what they don't tell you, you have two sorts of synthetic diamonds. You do have CVD lab-grown diamonds, which is chemical vapor deposition. It creates diamonds using a little bit lower heat. So that one is technically, well, it is better than the HPHD, which stands for high pressure, high temperature. That one is a little bit less energy efficient. However, the CVD grown diamonds, when they come out of the machine, they come out brown. And in order to get them colorless, you have to use the HPHD machine to treat them. So, not so energy efficient. What they also tend to leave out of the discussion is that to create the CVD machine, you do need cobalt. Not a very easily obtained material. And when they criticize diamonds for using conflict diamonds, which is a very, very small percentage due to the Kimberley process, if you're worried, like Angola, for instance, they have an awful lot. Congo also have diamonds, and that's obviously a conflict in Congo going on, especially with they're worried about children's labor and things like that. But in Congo, that's also where you find the other material. So I don't know, by the other material, sorry, I'm talking about cobalt. So, I mean, cobalt you also use on your iPhones, which I'm currently filming on. So I'm not a person to judge. It's just that these things tend to get left out of the discussion, which bothers me a lot, especially when people are making huge claims and telling people that are interested in buying diamonds that natural diamonds aren't as good, because they are. They support a lot of people. Whole Botswana's BNP is literally based on diamond production. So what happens if we stop buying diamonds from Botswana? Well, you can guess, it's a problem. So I think people should be a little bit, well, they shouldn't buy whatever people are selling them. Like I said, I think there is a market for synthetic diamonds. I don't mind synthetic diamonds in the least, but I do mind that when people aren't told the whole truth. That is a huge problem for me. And I have a lot of clients coming in and making very harsh claims that they've heard from somebody selling the synthetic diamonds. One thing that you should be mindful about also is that synthetic diamonds on the second-hand market has zero value. So if you pay, for instance, $5,000 for a huge diamond, which today you can actually get a huge diamond for $5,000. It wasn't that in 10 years ago. Then you would get a small diamond for $5,000. But if you came to any of the auction houses, at least in Sweden, or if you came to a pawnbroker like I'm working for, none of us would give you a cent for it. So it's not very sustainable. And the reason why we are not lending money on the synthetics is because the market pricing is all over the place. We have zero market to base our secondhand market on. We've tried to sell a few synthetics, mostly 1 carat diamonds in a ring, and we tend to get about perhaps $100 for the stone, apart from the gold price. So there isn't a huge demand for it. So hence we can't really sell it. And that's that. I've used that one and that one. I am now going to put this one all over my lid and this one, I think, in my inner corner. Otherwise I might have to grab a lighter one. I am going to use my grub little fingers. That's what I normally would do. This one is quite yellow leaning, so I am going to take some green in the middle. So, what are your thoughts on synthetic diamonds? Do you know what it is? Do you know that there's a difference between synthetic diamonds and lab-grown diamonds? Is there? No, they are the same thing. The reason that people started calling them lab-grown is so that they could sell them for more money, because synthetic didn't sound good. The thing is, synthetic stones have been around since the 1870s. We do see an awful lot in Art Deco jewellery from the 20s and 30s. Most of the sapphires and rubies are synthetic in those kind of period pieces, if you didn't know, which is completely fine because that was what they used during those times. So synthetic stones are not new on the market. We've seen this all before. So when people came to us and were panicking and were saying that, oh my God, the synthetics are going to take over. No, they're not. We've seen this before. Everybody was freaking out when they started using synthetic rubies and sapphires, and the jewelry business was telling everyone like, oh my God, this is the end of the jewelry business because nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. Today it takes us 2 seconds. Well, some of course are a bit more tricky and takes longer, but most of the synthetics that I come across are quite easily spotted. And synthetic diamonds, we have machines that can easily spot the difference today. So it's not that hard anymore either. So when people are standing there saying that you can't tell the difference, yes, you can, if you know what you're doing. I'm not saying that a layman would be able to do it, not even with a loop. I can't do it with a loop, but I can easily do it with my other machines. So, not a huge problem. I think that's it. I think that the green one that I used, this one, I used a bit on the center of my eye. I think that one is actually a little bit too dark for me right now. I do have problems with that. I am going to use my little Kitco palette. This is a palette that I use with a lot of my favorite ones. You'll find this one from Betty, like, in it. I did buy an extra on that one. I'm going to use this one. This is unfortunately an old shadow that you can't get your hands on anymore. It's called Shimmer Shimmer from Makeup Geek. When they closed down the brand, I bought 5, I think, of them. I've already used up 1, so I still have 4 remaining. But this is my all-time favorite. It's light, but it's quite transparent base. So it's easy for me to use, no matter if I have a tan or not. I can use it every time, every month of the year, which is great. I'm gonna put some on my brow bone as well. So that was a little bit about synthetic diamonds. I do feel like I'm ranting a lot about that on my other social media. I have a social Instagram that's open for public, that's work related. I don't post anything about family and stuff, but I do rant quite a bit about diamonds. It's usually in Swedish, so if you are English speaking, I'm sorry. I could start doing it in English, but then you need to leave comments for me. I'm going to use the Pat McGrath, the little powder. This is the pink one, the under eye powder. It is really, really good. Just going to put that. I don't need a lot of powder now because I'm so dry, but I am going to powder down my T-zone a bit. There we go. I'm also using my Chanel, what was this one called? It's not the Stylo Yeux, sorry, hitting my water glass. This one is Stylo Ombre et Contour. And this one is in the shade 12. I think it's called Claire. Yeah, Contour Claire. I think probably the lightest one. Your guess is as good as mine. I am gonna contour underneath my lip a bit because they are pale. There we go. And in my eye, my waterline, I'm going to use Victoria Beckham Beauty Satin Kajal in Cinnamon, which is a very, very nice pen. This might actually be a little bit light for this look. Well, it works. I love this one. I do have the Lisa Eldridge Burnt Umber one, which I absolutely adore as well. But that one is a little bit more red. This one is a little bit cooler. Oh, I made it too wide. Sorry. Q-tip. Oop. Sorry guys about the mirror. I know it's ugly. Still haven't found the other one. Must have put it in a very nice spot. So, if you want me to talk more about gems in my videos, please comment. Leave a comment for me. If you're not interested at all and just want me to talk about makeup, that's fine too. Please leave that in the comment as well. We did have in Sweden, Swedish national TV called SVT, Swedish television. They did a documentary that was from the Congo. You can still find it, I think, on the Swedish television network, which was quite hilarious because the reporter didn't know what he was doing and he hadn't spoken to anyone that knows anything about diamonds, I guess, because he was standing there with big giant crystals and like, these diamonds, you don't know if somebody's been raped getting a hold of these. And it was topaz, which was a bit embarrassing. So there is a lot of misconception about diamonds, I would say. It's a very important topic to discuss, diamond smuggling, obviously. It was just sad to see that they didn't know their stuff, which is slightly embarrassing being Swedish public television. I am going to use the Burnt Umber mascara by Lisa Eldridge, the Kitten Lash mascara in the color Burnt Umber. It's a very nice brown mascara. I've been using this one loads. It's one of my favorite mascaras. I am going to buy another black one, but I just ordered from the Sci-Fi, I ordered the Rum mascara, so I'm trying that one out. So I'm not going to buy another black Kitten Lash until I finished my other black one. I do have an awful lot of mascaras, and mascaras, unfortunately, aren't the kind of makeup that brings me that much joy to buy. I don't really like testing out new ones. I do it from time to time out of necessity, but I do tend to go back to the ones that I've been using for years. I have been using the Estée Lauder Sumptuous Extreme for years and years. I have also been using the MAC, the blue one with the light blue cap. That's one of those 38 degrees waterproof mascaras. That one I wouldn't use on its own because it's not nearly thickening enough. I just use it on like the top end of my lashes just to get the mascara underneath to stay, because I do get a lot of transfer easily. The Chanel mascaras I do use and love. They don't transfer on me at all. I do have slightly hooded eyes, so I have problems with getting like black dots, especially if my lids get a bit oily. This one doesn't either. Love this one. Sorry, I forgot to do my lashes again, my bottom ones. I remember like every 5th time, perhaps, that I should do those first. So now it's just the brows. I'm sorry, this is turning into a very chatty and long one, and I really need to get going. I need to brush my teeth and go to work in about 5 minutes. Depend brow thingy, the twin thin, same one as I always use. Not much happening there. Sorry guys, I'm not doing this. I'm trying to make them appear the same height. You never know. They usually don't. Well, I've heard the phrase that brows should be sisters, not twins. So they're definitely not twins on me. They never look the same height. They never look the same width. But I'm guessing that that's just what normal brows look like. My two brows are behaving very differently. One brow is always easier to put on than the other one. It doesn't have to be that I'm right-handed. I think it's just the way the hair grows or something. It is much easier to apply one of them than the other one. I'm gonna move this one down a bit. Want it a bit thicker. All right. Are we somewhat even? I'm not sure. I am gonna go out and brush my teeth, and then we will find out when I can put my glasses on. I will of course correct it if it's not. I'm gonna use my True and Trusted Friend. This is the Chanel lipstick in the color 54 Boy. Using this one for years and years. It's a very nice beige one. Yes, I'm putting it on for you guys. I am going to wipe it off before I brush my teeth. This one I like. It's just a shiny little hint of gloss. That's it for me today. Please leave a comment if you want me to talk more about gems, and if you have any other topics that you might be interested in. I'm happy to talk about them. Have a lovely, lovely day and a fabulous Wednesday. Bye.